Hi everyone, welcome to RafaCast. My name is Rafael Morim, and every episode here is an interview, and we talk about design, development, work-life balance, expat life, mental health, history, and other cool stuffs. Welcome. Hi everyone, super excited here to have Abenezer here with me. He's a Spotify engineer, and we started the same day in Spotify. Same area, PZN, and I'm very happy to have you here, man.
What's up? Happy to be here.
Man, the thing is, like, I met this guy here when I moved to Stockholm, but you already lived here before. Like, you didn't come to work, like, to Spotify and, like, move it to Sweden.
No, that's true. I moved here the first time around in 2015. I was still in university, and I wanted to basically, I wanted to like work in the music industry and work with tech. And I did a quick Google search. I was finishing my degree, and I was like, where is this happening? Where in the world are people doing music tech? And of course, it was a lot of hits for the US, but Sweden was, one of the top countries that was doing music tech, which was, at that time, Sweden had 8 million people, and it made no sense to me because it was like, how is this country with only 8 million people producing, first of all, this much tech, and second of all, this much music, and third of all, this much music tech? So I was super inspired. Me and my boy Rami, we were going to the university at the same time, and we both just decided, like, we just got to go there. We got to go there and see what's up, because we knew we were going to be inspired. And that's where it all started. August 2015, flew over here, and since then it's just been a journey.
Dude, but you're Canadian.
This is true.
Canadian, half Ethiopian.
I'm born in Ethiopia.
Oh,
yeah. And but I grew up in Canada. I grew up most of my life in Canada, so it's best of both worlds for me. I mean,
by the way, Ethiopian food is the best, man. I need to say this publicly. Like,
this guy knows. This guy knows.
I made friends here. They took me for the Ethiopian restaurant.
Yeah.
And it was like, blow my mind.
Yo, that's dope. I mean, it's spicy, right?
Yeah.
Like, first of all, it's a barrier of entry. Like, you gotta appreciate spicy food. And then it's like, once you appreciate spicy food, then you can really dig it.
Yeah. Dude,
I'm happy you like it.
And the thing is, they're most like is like you can eat with the hands.
Yep.
It's like, it's dope, man.
If you're like me and you hate doing dishes, it's like one of the best ways to eat food. You know what I mean?
It's true.
Like, before I bought a dishwasher, I was like, bro, I was so traumatized with doing dishes. Yo, you don't even know. I was like, I'd be using the same fork for like the cooking and for the eating, because I was like, I'm not gonna wash.
When you're a family, you eat without the.
Yeah, back home in Canada, yeah. So my family, they cook Ethiopian food once in a while. And when we do make Ethiopian food, we always eat by hand. Dude,
yeah, that's dope. And you guys don't care about the dirt dishes and stuff.
Nah, man, that's just the way we do it. And how'd you find the bread? It's called injera.
Yeah.
Some people think it's like super sour. How'd you find it? Did you think it was sour?
I like it. And the thing is, it looks like a Brazilian bread that I got. Like.
Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy because in São Paulo, one of the states in Brazil,
yeah,
we do have like a lot of like bakeries. Then like they produce different types of bread.
Yeah,
and one of the breads the flavor looked like very similar to that one, like that I got there.
Okay.
And now people are like, "No, this is different. Like you should be careful." And,
okay.
And I was like, "Dude, this is dope. Actually, I really like it."
That's really cool. Is that also like a really soft bread?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
You gotta put me on that. You gotta show me where.
Yeah, once we go to Brazil, bro, like you can just travel to this and like. Yeah. I mean, I love it. When the food came, I thought that was Brazilian food. Not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Like, was missing the rice and the beans. That is very Brazilian.
Right.
But beyond that, I was like, dude, this is life. I always gonna get Ethiopian food now.
The thing that people don't like, a lot of people don't know much about Ethiopian food. I know that like, in recent years, the grain that this injera is made from is called teff, and it became really popular I think amongst especially like the gluten-free community.
Yeah.
Because it was a grain that was gluten-free.
Yeah.
And so people were, started selling it at supermarkets and stuff like that. That's when I first saw it in like mainstream grocery shopping experience, like Ethiopian food. But aside from that, people don't really know what we be eating. But I think it's some of the best food for people that want to be vegetarian and even vegan. You know? Like it's like
they have a lot of options.
So many options.
Yeah.
Like the food I grew up on, my family, like we really grew up on a lot of vegetarian and vegan food because we never even like considered that this was vegetarian or vegan because this is just the way the food is.
Yeah.
It's a lot of it's a lot of like what do you call it, like peas and a lot of things that you basically make stew out of, and then it's like Ethiopia can be a bit of a religious country. It's the two dominant religions are Islam and Christianity, Orthodox Christianity, and the Orthodox Christians, they fast all the time. And then they break their fast.
Yeah.
And when they're fasting, they don't consume any animal products at all. No eggs, no milk, nothing. So it's like for a lot of the time of the year, they're eating vegan.
Yeah.
So it's like the food is designed to cater to that need.
Yeah.
So
that is great, man.
So now everybody on the wave, like people want to be vegetarian and vegan, they better check out that Ethiopian food, man.
Yeah.
It hits a spot.
But the thing is, you were born in Ethiopia, right?
This is correct.
But you came early to Canada.
I was actually 9 years old when I went to Canada.
So you spent like 9 years not in the cold, and then you went for Canada, and you're like, oh my God, this is real. Do you remember your first memories getting the cold?
Absolutely. It's ironic, because it's like if you're Canadian hearing this, it's gonna be super funny because I moved from Addis, which is the capital of Ethiopia, and I moved to a city called Vancouver on the west coast.
Yeah.
Vancouver is a shared opinion amongst Canadians. It's gotta be like one of the most warm and mild cities in Canada. Yeah. It's not even that cold. And, for me moving from Addis, bro, that was cold. I arrived, I'll never forget this. We moved like just after January.
Yeah.
And it was super cold, and I remember just like trying to get accustomed to the idea of snow, and I'd never seen snow before. Yeah. Well, that's a lie. Like my mother, she did her master's in Norway when I was like 4 years old.
Yeah.
So I saw snow when I was 4 years old, but I never seen snow like in recent, in the memory that I really recall.
Yeah.
So I was like, super tripped up about the whole thing. But if anything, Vancouver is just a really rainy. Really rainy city, so you get more rain than snow, and for me it was cold, but in reality, in the span of like Canadian temperatures, Vancouver's not cold, dude. It's pretty chill actually.
Dude, don't say that to me. You're saying that for someone that came from Brazil.
True.
Rio de Janeiro, because there's Brazilians that can like deal with cold.
Real hot, man. I was listening to your other podcast when you were talking about like Rio versus Phoenix.
Yeah.
And you guys were throwing up numbers that were like, I was like, yo, how are you people living in this? Like, these are crazy numbers.
It's like Stephen Curry of the talk about Absolutely. Stephen Curry. I have to ask, like, as a Canadian, do you cheer for Toronto Raptors?
I'll be honest with you. So when I was growing up, the first basketball jersey I ever got was Vince Carter, number 15, Toronto Raptors jersey.
Yeah.
After Vince left, I just had no interest in the Toronto Raptors at all. I never had interest in them for the longest time. In fact, when they had the whole like We the North thing going on, like all the homies back home, all the guys I grew up with, everybody started getting on the wave. They were like, yo, Toronto Raptors. I was like, whatever, I didn't really care until I'm honest about this. I said this on Twitter because, I got to be honest about it, until last year.
Yeah.
When I was like, yo, these guys
can't really make it.
These guys got it,
Yeah.
And I'm not a bandwagoner. I'm not gonna pretend like I'm a Toronto Raptors like #1 fan, but I was impressed and I was proud of what they did.
Yeah, come from Canada.
Yeah, bro. Especially that that the way they play is such a humble way,
Yeah.
It's different. Like the NBA is a superstar league.
Yeah. And nobody thought that they could make that far, actually.
Even this year, they disrespected them. Like, this season that just happened, they were like, but, Toronto. And they still were like a contender.
Yeah.
Like they were still up there in the East. So.
Yeah, they were locked. Who they lost the game again? I don't remember. I think it was.
That's how much I watch Raptors, bro.
We were focused on LeBron James.
Yo, that's where I was at, man. I was watching LeBron. I wanted to see where they were.
That actually is the way that we got connected. Like I remember we talking.
This is
they were
true.
like, we talking. That I was like, yo, by any chance do you like NBA Toronto Raptors? You're like, yo, man, I love it. And then I try to be cool. I try to say like, oh, I'm not a big LeBron fan. And then you're like, I love LeBron. I was like, fuck it. I love LeBron too, bro. I'm just trying to hold myself.
I remember that Slack message like it's yesterday, man. I was pretty happy. Everybody that knows me knows how much of a LeBron James rider I am. I mean, I've been on him since maybe 2004, 2005.
Yeah.
And then I had to like roll back and like look at his history. I looked at his like high school games, St. Mary High School in Akron. I mean, I was so into it. And to like 17 years later.
Yeah.
To still see this guy,
dude,
dominating this league,
dude,
you can't help but be inspired. You know what I mean?
Dude, you're preaching for the the minister.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like how can anybody hate on this guy?
Yeah.
This guy is like, I mean, just
he's unreal, man. He's unreal. He's like, if you have a Mount Rushmore, you put only a few faces there.
Absolutely.
And LeBron James is there. Doesn't matter. Whatever, whoever we discuss is Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and whatever you want to put.
Absolutely. I mean, people can argue about who's their number one, whatever. I think that's like a personal thing. But if you talk about Mount Rushmore of basketball, if you don't have LeBron James on there, then I don't think you understand the sport of basketball.
Yeah.
It's just disrespectful. What this guy's done for 17 years.
The status of the guy, he's like good like in points, he's good assists, he's good like rebounds. Yeah, he's crazy.
He's super intelligent in what he does. And I think the most I don't think this is underrated. I think people know, but people don't talk about it. This guy takes care of his body.
Yeah.
You know?
Dude, he spends like $1 million per year. Yeah.
This guy sits in these like chambers, relaxing his muscles. He's got a dietitian. He stretches like,
Yeah. Lakers have the personal team. LeBron have his personal team.
LeBron got his own guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, the guy, I forgot his name. He's always with LeBron.
I don't know the guy name either.
But, but he's there. He's there.
He's there.
And he's like, it's crazy because you see the guy like dunking like with like 35 years old.
You just gotta like appreciate the fact that like, if you put that kind of dedication into your body, like you're gonna be good. This guy never got injured, man. This guy was just.
He never missed. I mean, I think that he only missed like less than 5 playoff games in his whole life.
And he's been in the playoffs so much.
Yeah, he played almost every year.
It's almost embarrassing. It's like he did. I mean, like I stopped caring about the regular season because he didn't care about the regular season.
Exactly.
He's like, it's like. Playoffs, that's when it mattered.
Yeah.
And that's what I expected. And it's like, I think this last year with the Lakers, for the first time he missed the playoffs because of the hamstring injury. This turned into a sports podcast now, which is dope. I'm happy that we took it in this direction. But it's like, that was the first time in like 17 years I didn't watch the playoffs. You know what I mean? 16 years.
I mean, I even didn't thought that I mean, I gotta be honest. I'm a huge LeBron fan. Like, we were seeing my apartment. There was a LeBron jersey.
I know.
That was the unique jersey.
You even got the Lakers LeBron jersey.
It was the unique jersey that I came with from Brazil. And the thing is, dude, I was for the guy. Like, I root LeBron like to the death. Like, it's my guy.
Yep.
But the thing is, when he told like last year that he was like Lakers Nation, like I promise that I'm gonna make it. You guys are not going to suffer longer. I was like, because you saw the last season.
Yeah,
it
was a drought, bro. They were trash for so long. People don't understand how trash they were.
And that's the thing that I don't understand why LeBron didn't get the MVP. Yeah, like he changed one franchise from like the past 10 years. Yeah, and put with a ring. You see guys like Jared Dudley. Man.
Dudley out here flexing.
Getting rings. He got a ring, man.
Dudley's out here, bro. He's it's dope. I mean, there's not a lot of people that can take a team that went from zero
Yeah.
playoff games
Yeah.
to championship. Because
Yeah.
that's what happened. They didn't even make the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
And this year they're champions.
Exactly.
And that's the LeBron effect. If you want to run an A/B test and you
Yeah.
just want to put that one, I mean, come on,
It's crazy. It's crazy, right?
it is nuts.
Dude, I mean, sometimes for me it's like, dude, how like the expectations was like, yeah, they could make like the semifinals, the conference finals,
Yeah.
but they are not going to make the NBA finals. Who's gonna make is like Clippers, like Bucks.
Yeah.
Everyone was like,
everybody else. I was so happy that it was the Heat and the Lakers. I
Yeah.
mean, I also love
Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Buckets, man. That's
He's a real
my
one.
kind of person. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like there's a workhorse. This guy grinds.
yeah.
You know, I love that kind of stuff. So
Dude,
I was
he's
for it, man.
crazy. Like
Yeah.
he's like you watch the game, like the guy was exhausted,
Yep.
and he was like playing like nothing was happening. And they played like
Yep.
2 series of Game 7 like before.
Yep.
And they went to the final like exhausted.
I know.
Yeah.
They lost a couple players, but they still carried it heavy. I mean, it was a good. Honestly, bubble basketball is confusing. It's weird. This whole year, 2020, bizarre. We're recording this podcast on Friday the 13th,
Yeah,
2020. It's like if this
Yeah.
year hasn't been bad enough, this day is just confusing.
Yeah,
you know? So,
exactly.
But I was really proud of a lot of things this season. I mean, I was happy with the Nuggets, Denver Nuggets.
Yeah.
Denver like a second home for me because I got a lot of family down there.
Yeah.
I used to go there a lot of summers. I was there last Christmas, you know. So I'm a big fan of the city and the team. Obviously, we got some great Canadian talent on that team.
Jamal Murray.
Young Murray, you know what I mean? So he blossomed. You
Yeah.
know? Everybody knows the Joker is fire. So it was a good basketball year, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. Like for me, it's like I was not cheering for him. I told you, but I was actually for the. Well, when they play against Clippers, I was the whole way Denver. I was like Denver, let's go, baby.
Yeah.
But when they play against Utah,
Yeah.
I was like with my boy.
I remember,
Spider.
man. Young Mitchell. I remember that. I mean, that was good, but that was so good to watch those two guys go off. It's good. I mean, it reminds me of like, you know, just like the league like back in the day. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like when you had like young talent like that, like going at it. You
Yeah.
know, it's like LeBron and Wade. Like,
Yeah.
you know, when they were
Changing everything,
coming up.
yeah.
You know, it's like these two guys going at it like that. It's like.
Yeah. They changed it the whole game, like the whole series. The guy was like picking the ball.
It's
you know
crazy.
what? If you score 50,
Take
I
the
score
time.
60.
I
Doesn't
love
really
it.
matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's what we need, man. It's good. I think
Yeah.
it's good for the sport.
Well, taking away a little bit of the NBA, otherwise we're going to be like the whole night here.
Facts.
Like, when you came to Sweden, have you ever considered to work like for Spotify?
Yeah, absolutely. Like right when I came here, I did this basically like student internship program or like student test program where I competed with a bunch of other students that were, because I was still in university, competed with a bunch of other students that were from around here mostly, and we competed on, you know, a bunch of different cases, and I was really hoping to win that case. I didn't. You know, I was a finalist, but I didn't win it. And through that process at Spotify, I learned about the culture at the company. And I think that was the most significant portion of that, you know, trip for me. Because when I came here from Canada, you know, I mean, I had previously been working in Canada. I had worked for the government, Department of National Defense. I had like a federal employer, and I was working with, you know, Java 5, you know, using this thing called BERT report generator, and doing a lot of things that were very old, and also working in a, you know, in a constellation of people that was very archaic in the sense like waterfall project management.
Yeah.
You know, you need a new screen, you're gonna have to file a ticket, and then it's gonna maybe come in a month. You know? So when I went to Spotify during that competition, my eyes were open to a whole new approach to all of this, agile methodologies, and just kind of like working in a much more nuanced product development approach. And once I saw that, and once I saw the flat structure, because, you know, obviously the government is hierarchical, and then you have the Department of National Defense, that's a hierarchy.
Yeah.
You know? So like to go from that contrast to Spotify, I was like, this is a thing. So once I saw that, I was inspired. I knew I wanted to work in that kind of environment. I knew I wanted to work at a company like that, and that became my journey to be good enough to be in a place like that. So yeah, from I think from the get-go, from 2016, I would say I wanted to be part of something like Spotify, and I worked at a lot of really awesome companies along the way that really gave me that same fix. So I felt like this was a reality all along the way. When Spotify actually came around, I was almost like unsure if I wanted to take it, because I was so happy with where I was at previously.
Yeah.
I loved what I was doing. I loved who I was working with and all of that stuff. So it was actually a difficult decision, but the role that I was.
Yeah, you told me that you were quite happy with the place that you were.
I was content, man. I was loving it, but the particular situation at Spotify to work in PCN, I was like, man, if I pass up on this, like, I'm not gonna be happy with myself. So
yeah. But what do you do now in Spotify? Like, where's your work? I mean, I know, but
it's a great question. It's actually honestly, it's really hard to summarize in my opinion, just because it feels like it's everywhere right now.
No, I need to be honest. Even I have an idea of what you do.
Yeah. I don't even know what I do.
I mean, I was like, yeah, I know. Then I was like thinking for 1 second, do I really know?
Like, what is this guy? Does he even really have a job? No, but honestly, it's like my team is building a new way of content distribution in conjunction with another team. We're building how content's going to be distributed in all of Spotify. It's kind of a really cool problem area. But the content distribution is not just general content. It's not like, oh, how songs get from here to there. It's about personalized content. So it's about like, how do we take personalized content, so the stuff that matters to you, mixture with what our editors think is relevant for this region or relevant for this season, this culture.
Yeah.
How do we mix these experiences together, irregardless if it's music or podcast, and deliver it to all the different surfaces, so home or search or browse, and get it to you in a way that's useful for you. And it's like firstly, I think it's a data problem, which I think is really exciting. That's that's what drives me. And then secondly, I think it's a interesting area between algorithm versus editorial. Yeah. Personalization versus curation. Yeah. And I think that like when those things collide, it's an area where there's a lot of it's where there's a lot of development can take place. Because I mean, right now it's like it's either machine learning or it's driven by people. So we're trying to figure it out. I don't even know if that answers the question.
No, definitely answers.
I deliver data from point A to point B. Yeah, it's like every developer's answer.
You gave a really good answer, I think. Like, I mean, that was a really complex answer, by the way. So I am thinking like, oh, this is like philosophically what you do.
Yeah. I write a lot of Java. There's the real grant, and then sometimes I get the pleasure of writing some JavaScript.
Dude,
and then we cross some paths. You know what I mean?
But I mean, we work almost in like we're relatives. Close. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we're super close. You own the platform.
Yeah.
And I'm just another player in the team.
No, not like that, dude. I mean, for the platform, every team's like a star.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's actually a really nice setup. I think that platformization is really necessary for a company like where we're at, the stage that we're at. I mean, this like plug-in architecture, it's the only way that you can really allow teams to be autonomous. Yeah. But also be a part of something that's like, so you're not just duplicating everybody's work. Yeah. I really like the way we go about it. Yeah. How have you done it? Yeah. Because you went into a platform team, and I'm curious to hear what you think is like from the other side. How is it like to maintain a platform where everybody's dependent on you?
Yeah, I mean, do you heard about the bot that we presented yesterday? I guess
I was in a meeting.
Okay, I wasn't actually. Yeah. I got lost. I mean, I lost the time when I woke up, and yeah. But I mean, it's not my thing. It happened one time, but still, I had to say that. I didn't need to be honest.
It is.
But the thing is, the bot like it tells when people that are not part of our team, they send PRs to the. And the thing is, like this started inside with it was like idea of the Marat, the guy that works in my team.
Yep.
And he started to write the bot, and it's like super useful for a platform because you can see people interacting with your project and see like stuff that they are building, like questions that they have. And it's super useful. And the thing is, for a platform, like everything that we do, every meeting that we have is more contributor based. Than like ourselves. Even like every discussion that we have, I remember one day we were like, dude, why we're going to do this is super painful to do. And the thing is, we could not do it because everyone was using the library. So we had to keep with that shit library and say to people, hey, do you want to update? And people are like, no, we don't want to. Can we update you? No, we don't have time to help you. So sometimes it's complicated, but most of the time it's fun because you're working with, like I have the opportunity to work with you. I have the opportunity to work with like other teams.
It's true.
And that makes me happy, like to see other stories, other purposes. For example, today they show, I mean, I don't need to like enter in details, but they show a new app that is using the platform inside, like within, like internal information and stuff. But the thing is, they show, and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing, and they use it like the platform that we wrote. And this was like crazy. Like I felt like so good. They were actually like very happy. They created a meeting to say like, dude, like you guys made my job really easy. That was like, for me, was like dope. Was good enough like for me.
It's really dope because I mean, for me, you and your team, you provide a service that I remember like in previous companies, you kind of had to do yourself. You know? Things regarding like, you know,
and nobody wanted to do.
No one wants to do it, you know.
Exactly.
And it's like,
I know. I have worked.
You know, it's like, and then eventually it becomes tech debt. Everybody's building around it, and it's a mess, you know. So for me, this is actually a gift that we have dedicated people that are building the road so we can build parts of the city. You know, this is really valuable.
Yeah, exactly. It's like code infrastructure. And when I have like two friends in the Facebook, and they used to like say about the code infrastructure to Facebook. And it's basically what we do, like the alpaca thing. And it's like they have a whole area only for like programming languages. That could be useful for inside of Facebook. And it's like, for me, it's like this. I don't know. I'm not going to say there is like another level because it's like I feel there is more the purpose of the company. But I feel there is like super good direction, and Spotify does the same way.
We have that too. We have the you know, the target where, you know, what's, you know, possible to use in production, what's good to test, what's outside of consideration.
And if you go for like if you go for any other company that I have worked in, like I didn't have like really platform change like that. Like GoDaddy was the closest one to have like something that Spotify has inside. But it still was like few products internally that was maintained. They were maintained, and the thing is, Spotify have a lot of internal tool that is like super useful. It's not like shit tool.
No,
it's like really good.
No, but exactly. Like we even, I mean, like even more abstract. We even have an internal education program.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
Yeah, there's actually articles like they publish external
all the time.
Externally, they go the path.
And these are really valuable, you know. And it's like when a company realizes that like to build up its own product, it has to, you know what I mean. So to me, this is dope. And this is the way to build quality.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you really want to move up the stack and build abstractions that you can actually depend on, someone needs to be accountable for that abstraction. Abstractions don't just exist. You know what I mean? It's like the internet is a great abstraction over like cables, and like HTTP is a great abstraction over like TCP, but like someone maintains that abstraction. It doesn't just exist and rot away. You know what I mean? So it's like someone has to be the person that owns that platform that other people can build on top of.
Exactly.
So I think
and care about it, like have like maintaining, like And by the way, we have like positions in Spotify if you guys want to apply. we are not being paid to talk about Spotify.
I'm getting paid, but not to talk about Spotify.
Exactly. Well, the thing is, this is a question, but it's like, do you came to Sweden, you got used with the culture here, I suppose. After live here, how long you have lived here?
I've lived here just over 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
And do you consider yourself like good enough with the culture? The culture is like something that you're using now. The Swedish culture.
The Swedish.
Yeah, like how I can say the way for example, if you go to Brazil, people are very warm and they hug you. They're like, oh my God, my guy Abenezer. Like,
it's actually a great question. The Swedish culture is very so people think Sweden and Canada are very alike, and on the surface they are, but if you stay a while, then you can really start to see the differences. And I think it's the same for people that from Europe. A lot of people in Europe might mistake that Canada and the US are alike. On the surface, they might seem like they're alike, but if you stay a while, then you can start to really see the difference. And I think the long tail of the culture is so different that even after having been here, to answer your question, for 4 years and a bit, that there are quite a few things that I think are just hard for me. There's so much I love about the culture.
No, I understand. You don't need to love everything.
But like there's so much that I've taken as part of myself. This country has basically made me grow so much as a person. But there's also some parts where I've decided that like that's not for me. You know what I mean? I'm gonna there's still who I am as a person, and I'm gonna maintain that even if I'm living here.
Exactly.
And so it's a bit of a balance between culture is an evolving thing. And I think even in Sweden, culture is an evolving thing. I've seen it evolve, in the time that I've been here. I think it's evolving even more as time goes on because of the amount of input this country is receiving. But for me, it's always been like I want to take as much from it as I want and can. But at the same time, I still believe in certain things for me that I think are important. So I'm gonna keep those.
Exactly. I think that is all immigrant have that mentality. It's like the immigrant music.
Like, I'm gonna say what up to my neighbors, you know what I mean? Like, Swedish people do not get excited about seeing their neighbors, Me, bro, if I see my neighbors in the staircase, I'm like, yo, what up?
Dude, I know.
How you been? I heard you've been drilling.
You're preaching for the minister, man.
You know what
again.
I mean?
You're saying that to Brazilians.
It's like, yo, I'm boys with my neighbors downstairs. I'm boys with the neighbors upstairs. The guy next door, he's got 3 kids. And I'm boys with
everyone. You're like, yo, if I need sugar, I'll
be there. What I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's like, yo, I borrowed the drill from the other guy across the hall. It's like, this is how it is. I want to be this way. I want to be an open, neighborly person. And I know that some people in this country, they don't want to talk to their neighbors, and I respect that.
It's fine,
If you don't want to talk to me, I'm not going to talk to you. But if you are open to it, then we're going to be some fun neighborly people.
Dude, but you made the language, you learned the Swedish
language.
How you have done that?
It's a great question. I have no idea. I actually. Yo, I actually don't know, man. I mean, man, It's like you stay somewhere.
It's a hard question.
Yeah, it's like you stick around, you know, you just listen to a lot of stuff and then you just throw stuff around. Eventually you realize like, hold on a minute. I can actually
do that
at a good level. Like I was on the phone, I called the dentist the other day. And you know, sometimes I still like if it's a context that I'm not used to, I still ask like I'm like, hey, is it okay to take this in English? And then usually, you know, because you know most people speak great English in Sweden.
Yeah.
So usually people are like, yeah, it's you know, it's all good, like you can take it in English. But this woman was like, she was like, no. In Swedish, she's like, no, that's not gonna work for me. I don't speak English. And I was like, all right. And then I said like, you'll have to be patient with me. I may not know everything.
Yeah.
You know, I explained my situation to the dentist, and she was super cool, and we made it work. You know.
Yeah.
But learning a language is an interesting topic because you learn as much as the context that you're in.
Yeah.
You know, it's difficult to ever say that you know a language fully. I mean, I'm sure because you know a lot of languages.
Yeah.
There's probably certain contexts that you're most comfortable in Portuguese, some contexts that you're most comfortable in English, some contexts that you're most comfortable maybe in Spanish. It's like for me, I feel the same. It's like there's some things I don't even know what they are in English because I learned them in Swedish.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know them in English.
Exactly, yeah.
So now I'm most comfortable talking about that thing in Swedish.
Swedish, yeah.
And then it's like some things that I'm most comfortable talking about in Amharic, which is like, you know, the language that my family spoke in Ethiopia.
Yeah.
And there's some things that I speak only in English. And so it's like language is you know, it's like a Venn diagram, man. It's like there's no one big circle. It's like multiple things going on. Sometimes you might be able to have some overlap.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of times like you may not know the word in one language, but you know it in another language. And I feel that way about Swedish. So, you know, my Swedish is good at this point, but it's very contextual. And I'm not going to be able to tell you about my childhood in Swedish because I've never
but
been
it's
in
fine.
that context.
I mean, you can read stuff and
you know, I can talk to people. I can read stuff. I can work in Swedish.
I told you that I made the Spotify interview and the guy. Is
this where you dropped the Japanese?
Yeah.
Yo,
then I was like, no, I can
something.
speak Japanese. Actually, I told you the first interviewer in the algorithm, and he was like, fine. And I was like, fine, was it? Like, nobody asked me to, like, show my skills. And then in the last interview, for some reason, like, the guy was like, oh, I love Japan. I was like, yo, I can speak very basic Japanese. And he was like, speak it. And I was like, Rafael Desuga. And then he was like, speaking really high-level Japanese. And the thing is, the guy lived in Japan for 12 years. He's married with a Japanese woman.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, and I was like, yo, I lost the job. I'm not going to make Spotify.
Imagine they're like, yeah, this guy is really good at programming and systems design, but his Japanese is pretty trash, so we're not going to hire him.
Yeah, but I thought that he would like, oh, he lied.
Yo.
He say it to us. They know Japanese.
He went off on you, bro. He went like level 5,000 with his Japanese. He didn't need to do all that. He could have kept that basic.
Yeah, I could just be okay, right?
You know.
Yeah.
You're solid still.
Exactly. I was like, actually, when they gave me water, I was like, I wanted more. So you say, "Okawari kudasai," and then the guy was like, "Oh, so you speak Japanese?" I was like, I mean, I speak very basic Japanese. And he was like, so speak it. Then I was like, dude, this maybe is my chance. Maybe it's the time that I can prove myself.
This is the moment we've all been waiting for.
Exactly.
You're wild, man.
But was the moment that I got shamed.
But come on, like if because you know both you and I, we speak a language that can be drastically different in region. I speak English. Some would argue pretty well.
Yeah.
I remember I went to England. I went to London.
Yeah.
For the first time. I swear to God, I thought I didn't speak English. I was like, I don't know what's going on. This guy told me to put my luggage in the boot, and I was like, in the where? Bro, I was tripping. I was like, I don't know what this guy's talking about. And it's like so many of these contexts I found myself in London where I was like, I don't know at all what they're talking about.
Yeah.
I just totally missed that whole sentence.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt that way with Portuguese from, you know, Brazil versus maybe like Portugal?
Yeah. The thing is, like, I am from Rio. And in Rio, we do change the X by the S.
Okay.
And actually the S by the X. And then is like we speak funny for other Brazilians, like the other states. they are like, oh, I don't know. I don't want to portray myself, but they think about crime when they see people from Rio. They're like, they think that we're a gangster when they were going to other state. Right. Actually, one day I was like I was in Santa Catarina.
Okay.
And then I was running the terminal, and I was like using flip flops. Very classic people from Rio, and they are like European descendants. Yeah. Like they are very like white, blonde people.
Sure.
And I mean, I don't look like them most like. And I was running, and I was like with the flip flops and the shorts, and this is. I mean, could be common, but was not in that time because it was cold. Right. But we really didn't care because I was from Rio. Yeah, and I was like, I don't have any other clothes. And then one guy, my friend, he screamed like, he was like, this guy stole my wallet. And then everyone stopped at me like, yeah, of course. What the hell? And then I was speaking with the Rio accent. And then one guy got really excited. He was like, you're not going to fool us with this Carioca accent. And then I was like, what the hell? And then my friend came and explained that was a joke. But everyone stopped at me. They were like, what are you doing? But the thing is, because of that, like, we do have like a similarity with Portugal.
That's interesting.
So when I go to Portugal, I understand better than Portuguese.
Yeah.
Than people from other states. Yeah. Yeah. But in the same way, they do still speak funny to me.
So I have a question for you, because does that mean so Rio versus Sao Paulo, you speak very different.
Yeah.
But does it mean that like the Rio accent is more posh?
You mean like snob?
Yeah.
This is not fair with people from São Paulo, but I'm gonna say that I feel that their accent is more snob.
Because I'm just wondering, because you are more like the Portuguese from Portugal.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering, because in English.
I don't know if Brazilians feels like that.
They don't feel that way about it.
Maybe because I grew up in Rio. I mean, it's funny because if you grew up like in the city that everyone looks in the TV and stuff. When I visit the other states, they were like making fun. It's because you're from Rio, and I was like, what the fuck?
Yo, if you don't see it, then it's probably
that is probably me. But São Paulo, Rio, I think that we are both like since you are the most like
massive city.
Yeah, exactly. I think that if you go for other states, they are like. It's because you're from São Paulo. It's because you're from Rio, and I understand then.
People think we got big cities in North America. Like people think we got like in Canada or even the US. Like how many people we got in Rio?
Dude, I think it's 12 million, something like that. Maybe less, but São Paulo I think it's 12 or something.
That's huge.
Yeah,
I think like the only city bigger than that in North America, if I'm not tripping, is probably Mexico City.
Yeah.
Because aside from Mexico City, like New York is big, but New York I think caps at 10.
Yeah, I know, man. And the thing is, if you grew up like that, it's crazy when you move to Sweden and you see like 3 cars passing by in the night.
Oh yeah.
And for me, it's like, what the hell is happening here?
Yeah.
And it's and the thing is, dude, Actually, I wanted to talk about one thing that I always tell this story to my friends. The day that we were in the queue for a party, the bar that we went.
Oh yeah.
And then we met this famous singer.
Oh yeah.
I forgot her name, Didi or something.
Didi, yeah.
She was great. She was like nice. She was kind, but
she was cool. Yeah.
But she was like, the thing is, like, gonna portray this story. Was me and Abenezer in the queue, and we were like for what, 1 hour?
We were there for a hot minute. It was like an hour, yeah.
And then I was like, and we were seeing a lot of people just entering. Like they didn't even talk with the security; they were just entering.
Yeah.
And then Abenezer and I, we were looking. And then this woman was not a girl; was like a woman already. She looked at us like, oh, and we started to talk with her. She was like, no. I played with Michael Jackson.
Yo,
and
started
like
dropping some heavy references. Yeah, she started dropping them.
Yeah. And then she was like, you know what? I'm gonna get you guys inside.
Oh my god.
And then we were like, I thought that maybe she could. And was one of the most
I never been so underwhelmed in my life, man. That was tough.
And she returned like oh, the guy's nice, but they told me that.
She was like, I know the owner of this place.
Yeah, exactly.
She's like, I'm famous.
I know the owner of Spotify, and I was like,
yeah. She's like, I know one of the owners. I was like,
exactly.
Right.
Dude, that night was.
That was just fun. It was fun though. I mean,
it was fun.
That's Stureplan. if you come to Stockholm and you go to a place called Stureplan, expect to be disrespected by the guards, by the line outside. Like people don't. There's no sense of. It's
People just gave up in the queue. Were people behind us that just like fuck it.
That stuff is just what. That's why I stay where I stay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't go out there. It's not for me. I'm a local dude.
Yeah, local dude.
I keep it local.
Yeah.
Keep it cozy.
Dude, first of all, very happy that we talked today.
Yes.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And well, I hope that if you folks have any question, I'm gonna drop Abenezer Twitter or what do you prefer.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Yep.
There is it. Then also NBA questions you can.
Every you want to keep it spicy, you can fire the NBA questions. Stay on it. Shouts out to RafaCast. This is fire, bro. I'm really impressed with what you're doing. Keep at it, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
Dude, thank you. Appreciate it. Well, thanks, folks. That is it.